everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. We've got the old Dodge Caliber here in a million pieces, changing the doors and fenders and stuff and doing some other things. And while it's in here, I've got some repairs and maintenance to do. So we're going to get started on that now. First thing I'm going to do is front and rear brakes. You can see here, this happens a lot with cars that just sit around. Oh golly, where's my light? The brakes end up getting pretty crusty. Now, it always works out that this side of the rotor isn't so bad, but the back side is usually really grim. So we're just going to go ahead, and the parts are cheap. We're going to put rotors and pads on it all the way around and make sure that everything is serviced up and free. Here's our old brakes. We got new pads, a good rotor. The story behind this is my brother drives a 2013 Dodge Avenger. And lucky for him and me, his Avenger and this caliper have the same brakes, front and rear. So what we do, the last time I did the brakes on this car, I put 4 new rotors on it. And the last time we did the brakes on my brother's car, we put 4 new rotors on it. So these are the rotors off my brother's car. They're original Chrysler ones. I threw them on the brake lathe and cleaned them up. We'll use them on this car. And then the 4 new ones that I put on this last time, I'll put them on the lathe and clean them up and put them back on the shelf. And then hopefully it'll be my brother that needs a brake job next, and we'll put those rotors back on his car. Then by then they'll all be shot. But that's okay. We get our life out of them. So this is pretty easy to change. Nothing too spectacular about this. Take the bolts out, pull the rotor off, put a rotor on, put the pads in, service everything up, and you're good to go. Now we're going to do the front brakes. Pretty straightforward. Well, I always say that when I start, and I usually end up finding some disaster. So the first thing, I just put a screwdriver in there and just take a little, and you can see now the rotor is loose. That just makes it easier to get the caliper off. We've basically just pushed the piston back a little tiny bit. Now we get into the fun. Oh, look at that, it came out. I'm shocked. These old Canadian cars, you never know what you'll find. I had to take the torch to one of the ones on the back to get it off. But these ones are okay. It feels like it's kind of stuck in the, rubber booty. There it comes. Just needs a little help. We'll clean these all up and re-lube them. There we go. Yeah, see the little rubber is stuck in there. There we go. No such thing as a 5-minute job on a Canadian salt car. See? Now that one is stuck. My bad. I should have known enough to take that one out first. So I just stuck the bottom bolt kind of back in to keep this thing from turning, and we got her cracked. Now I got our caliper off. We just use a short little bungee cord to hang it from the coil spring. Now we got to get the adapter off. Oh, I got the wrong socket again. Well, you can see the front brakes are fried pretty down. I told you at the beginning that I think I just did the brakes on this spring. In reality, I'll check my book after. It was probably like 3 springs ago. Time flies when you're having fun. Now I'll get these old pads out. Yeah, they're pretty worn down. You can see we got our money's worth out of those ones. There. Now we'll prepare this bracket to go back on. And off with this rotor, this old rotor. We'll put these rotors on the lathe and see if we can start cleaning them up and measure them and see what's left. If they're above minimum thickness, they're good to go again. We'll put them back on the shelf until this car or my brother's car needs them. Somebody will need them. Now we'll change these things. Basically what these do, they're stainless steel, and these keep the brake pads go up and down there, and they keep the brake pads, number one, from digging into your caliper adapter, and number two, it's stainless steel. It shouldn't rust, so it gives it a nice surface to slide on. Unfortunately, what does happen is scale builds up in behind it. You can see it there, and actually starts squeezing on it this way, and will give basically the same effect as a seized caliper. And your brakes will wear out and smoke will come out of them. So it's important when you're doing this to just get in there with a file and make sure this is good and clean before you put the new ones in. Then we can pop a new isolator in. Whoops. Get in there. What have I done here? Oh. There. See? Just like that. Then the last thing I do, just to make sure it's got a little wiggle room in there, is I just get a little file and I remove just a little bit of material from these tabs that run inside the caliper adapter, and it just makes sure your pad will always be free to release. Now we can put our rotor on. If you're putting new ones on or fixed up used ones, it's the same thing. Just make sure the face of your hub is clean and the back of the rotor is clean. And you can go ahead and put it on. And I just usually put one lug nut on to hold it. Just holds it kind of straight while you're working. Now we put the caliper adapters back in. Oh, I'm going to have to look up the torque spec for these.
On.
All right. So we got this silly little squealer that they give you. I hate these things. I don't usually put them on, but because we're making a video here, I'll put it on. So there, that goes there. The top position on the inboard pad. And all that does is when your brakes get worn down to the point where that starts touching the rotor, it makes a squeal. That's why we call it a squealer, and lets you know that you need a brake job. And then our outboard pad, and it goes. Now, get the brake caliper piston retracting tool, and we'll just push the piston back in, nice and gentle. Don't do this if you have ceramic or phenolic pistons. These ones are metal. We can get away with this. There, it's bottomed out in its bore. Now, we can put our caliper back on. You got to watch you don't catch these rubber booties. There, it'll just sit there for a second while I get the bolts ready. We have the special Mully brake lube that these things come with. There we go. And then you just put a little bit of this stuff on the slider pins. That's the bottom one. It's got the rubber on it. This is nasty stuff. It's not as nasty as the stuff that's in CV joints, but it's nasty enough. There we go. We'll have to work at getting that one in because it's got that little rubber, that little anti-rattle rubber on it. I'll put a little more on this one. Where'd my rag go? Bloody dogs probably took it. And that could work its way into there. There we go. Okay, now we'll just tighten these bolts up. There's probably a torque spec on these ones too. I should look it up. But that's pretty good. Just like that. And get the top one tight. And these guys torque to 32 foot-pounds. Which they're at already. Boy, I really need new guide bolts. Next time, I think I said that last time I did the brakes. I said next time I do the brakes, I need new guide bolts. But here we are. And they're still going. All right. Now, last thing we're going to do is you'll watch this because we've got the, you can actually see right down there in between the caliper and the pad. We're going to get in the car and pump the brakes up to get the piston right back out so that we don't get a big surprise the first time we move it. There you go. You see it move? Good. Okay, so brakes are pumped up. That's this side done. Same job on the other side, then the brakes are done.
The boys helping us in the garage today. Nugget passed out in the dirt, and Cooper at least on the blanket.
Eating his foot. The guys helping. Hello, Nugget. Okay. I got this side done now and got it pumped back up, so we're all set. That's it for the brakes. Now we're going to move on and do a couple of other little maintenance things. Car's been running a little funny lately, so we're going to give it kind of a tune-up. We're going to put some STP high mileage fuel injector cleaner in it. We're going to give it an air filter and a set of spark plugs. The air filter on this thing, you can kind of undo these clips and split the thing apart and wrestle with it in there. But quite honestly, it's easy just to take the whole air box right out of it and do it on the bench and then put it back. So you just pop these two clips in your air filters right there. I kind of think I changed this recently, but you know what? They're cheap, so we'll just throw another one in it now. Sorry, Cooper. Excuse me, buddy. This is a Hastings Baldwin. They make good filters. Let's see what this thing looks like. It's been in there a while. Well, look at all the crap in here. Yeah, just give that a shake. Put our new filter in. There we go, and clip it back up, and it's good to go again. So once you've done that, you just pop it back in, make sure you get your hose on and tighten the clamp. I haven't tightened that up yet because there's another part of this video series of the Dodge Caliber. We'll actually have to take this back out again, but for now, it's in there, and make sure you plug in that's your intake air temperature sensor. Now we're going to change the spark plugs. First thing we got to do is get an air blower and blow all the junk out of here. We don't want it going down in the engine when we open it up. First thing we got to do is get the coils off. Now I went first, these are Torx, and I broke them all free with a ratchet. I'm just using this gun to run them out. And there is, you don't have to unplug the coils from the wiring harness. There is just enough slack in them to get them out. That one's the tightest, number 4. Okay, so now we'll get our spark plug socket. We'll get these plugs out and see what they look like. So I'll get these plugs out and see what we got. Again, I don't think they're too old, but we'll stick it on our shit. Oh, they don't come out. I'll have to get the grabber and grab them. Yeah, these plugs are just about new, but it doesn't matter. We'll put another new set in. I say that, and then, like I say, I'll look in my book and find out they're like 10 years old or something. This car just doesn't get the snot run out of it every day like it used to, and it sits around, and you kind of lose track of what you've been doing with it and how many miles you've put on it. That's why I keep the book in the glove box. The gap on these things, this particular car, of course, every car's got its own specification, but for this car, in there, 45 thousandths to 50, somewhere in there is where you want to be. And they come out of the box all right at 50. So that's fine. That'll give it a nice hot spark and keep it running good. So we'll stick them in. Once we get them started, then you just run them down and kind of give them a just snug. You don't have to kill them. Now I can put the coils back in and run the little Torx bolts down. Now I'm just going to go around and check all our fluids, get her ready for winter, top up the washer fluid. Looks like I could use just a dash of coolant. I'm not too concerned at this time. It's been sitting at that level for quite some time now, but I'll put a little bit in it. I'd like to see it kind of, you can see the levels there. That's basically the cold level, and the hot, or hot, they want it in between here and here or something. Anyway, I want to get it just up a little bit. Now we're going to change the cabin filter. And on these cars, it is here behind the glove box. If only I could remember how to get the... Oh, yeah. You got to squeeze the sides of it. Get it out. There's one. Yeah, damn thing. There we go. Okay. And there you will see, right in here, there's a little door. So you squeeze the tabs on the end, and the filter is in behind that door. Right here. So there's the door, and it shows airflow with an arrow going down. And that filter shows airflow with an arrow going up. So the last time I put the filter in backwards, but what do you... So here's our new one, and we'll pay more attention this time and match the arrow on the filter to the arrow on the door. It pays to pay attention. Oh, it even comes with instructions showing you how to put the arrow the same way. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we got that. Now let me get the thing in there. And we'll have nice, fresh, clean air in the Dodge Caliber for a little while longer. For the first 10 years we had this car, I didn't even know it had a cabin filter. And the first time I pulled it out, it was just like this black blob of bugs and dirt, and it was really gross. At least I know now. And coincidentally, our two Ram pickups also have cabin filters, and they use the same filter. I've got another one over there on the bench for one of the trucks. Next, we're going to change all the wiper blades on it. It doesn't, like, I don't really think it actually needs wiper blades, like, but I just like to change them every couple of years. And these damn things, every single one of them, they attach a different way. There's usually a little thingamajiggy that you gotta pull down or flip out of the way or something to make them come off. Oh, there it is there. And also it's important to make sure, see that joint there, make sure that that is free. It'll seize up and it'll really cause you grief with your rear wiper. Bear with me, I've only been a mechanic for 35 years. I have great respect for the guys at AutoZone that come out and change them in the parking lot. This damn little thing on the bottom I had to push up. That little pin there, that's what holds this silly thing on. Anyway, I managed to do it without breaking anything, so let's get our new one on. What the heck way does this thing go on? Hang on, bear with me here, people. Yeah, it goes that way. Has to. There we go. Just like that. I can do it. Okay, there we are there. See, this one's got a much more distinct little tab. Yeah, it still doesn't want to come on. Plus, my fingers are all buggered up today for some reason. There we go. You got to be careful too. This thing slips out of your hand, and that thing goes whack against. You could be on your way to get a new windshield, and nobody wants that. One to go. Here's the last one. There we go. Like that. Yeah. It says here, it should go on. There it goes. Click, and it's on. There. There we are. Deb got our 3 wipers that we just took off back in one package. It's good to have a spare set of wiper blades in your car anyway. I'll throw these in the back. Now I gotta grease the front end. This car originally, nothing on the front end was greasable, but over the years changing parts, our sway bar links are now greasable and our outer tie rod ends are greasable. The lower control arms, they're Chrysler ones, so the ball joints are sealed. But if you had like Moog or Mevotech control arms on, you'd have a grease fitting there too. So we're just going around now cleaning up the grease fittings with the help of my little friend here. And as usual, the grease gun, oh, there it goes. Oh, there we go. There. I thought the grease gun was empty. It must have just had a little air pocket. There. Greasable front end parts are only good if you actually grease them. Now it's empty. Don't ask me where I got this, but this must be good stuff. Duralube, as seen on TV, 100% synthetic grease, advanced high performance formula. Oh yeah, it smells like grease. There we go. There. Now we'll go over and do the other side. That's it for now with the maintenance and repairs part. There's more to this, but I'll finish that up once the body of the car is all back together. Well, here's our last step. We'll put the wheels back on, get them torqued up, get her down on the ground, and we can test it out. We're supposed to get a whack of snow tomorrow. It's not supposed to come till later in the morning, so hopefully I can get out first thing and run the car around a little bit and see how it's going to work. Thank you. She's back on the floor, wheels torqued, air pressure set. I've got the snow brush and ice scraper and all that kind of winter stuff in the back. This car is ready to go for the snow. Well, we got a bunch of stuff there, didn't we? The old Dodge Caliber is back amongst the living and ready to go back in service. That makes me happy. It's been down for a little while with that thing with the relays and the brakes were acting up, but it's all good now. Sorted out, ready to go. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll tune back in and see what we're up to next time on the Claremont Classic Garage. And until then, this is Kevin saying Merry Christmas and catch you next time. So long for now.